grow up. I need to get a house. My kid's about to be 6. I need to give her like a real space. I'll get a house.
No, man, Second Street is you right now. I passed the torch.
Yeah.
No, you can't get a house on Second Street.
Pass the torch.
The house on Second Street gonna cost them a pretty penny.
I gotta live on. Where's the best spot for a house? Anyways, that's some local shit. But I need to buy a house. I just re-signed my lease for another year, but I'll buy a house after that.
Yeah.
Oh, you did sign it?
Yeah, I need to.
That's cool.
I want to get my money up a little bit more and put like a real healthy down payment on the house so that my payments
are low.
So my payments are lower.
But what's
That's what I wanna do.
what's this video that they were saying? They were going, if you were smart, you would just continue to rent versus buy, because if you stay somewhere for a year, you go somewhere else versus committing to like 30 years or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I was listening to this thing.
I could break down that whole debate. I have seen every single side of that debate. It gets way too heated. People care way too much about it. But there's pros and cons. There's pros and cons to renting and buying depending on your situation, where you live. So basically, at the end of the day, it's just do what's best for you, like financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Advance. Like for me, I didn't buy a house because I thought I'm still dabbling back and forth on whether or not I want to move to Minneapolis, to the cities.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so for me, I wouldn't want to buy a house and then pay nothing but interest payments for 3 years and then move and not build really any equity. So like for my philosophy, if I buy a house, I'd like to live there for like at least 7 to 10 years. That's just my personal preference. So I could build up some equity, let the house value go up, give it enough time to get like appraised. Because like what happens to some people, a lot of people, what if you bought a house full sticker in the hottest market in 2007? You'll be salty as fuck because your house would have been half the value a year later when the market crashed, which is rare, but that's the type of shit I think about. So like, I know that if my house value goes down, I'm not going fucking anywhere. I'm staying there so that shit goes back up.
Damn. Yeah, I thought about that too. Like moving out here, I was like, shit, should I get an apartment? Should I try to buy a little condo? But shit is way more expensive out here, obviously. So I battle with that too. Like, is it, I watched all those videos too. Like, is it smarter to buy a house or to rent in your city? But it, like you said, it depends on your situation. Like putting down $15,000-$20,000 versus putting down $3,000 for an apartment and then using that extra $10,000 to invest into something else. I think that's where the biggest thing is. Like, us younger people want to like, we don't really believe in that whole settling in thing. Like we don't even see 30 years. Like we trying to make that money like tomorrow. So I think we're trying to use that. I think the argument is like to use that money that you would put on a down payment into something that's going to make you more money. So, i.e., real estate. Like, so find a rental property that you can go in with people on, things like that, or put that money into your business or stocks or whatever you might want it to be, and then that money you can use doubled up. Putting it down is way more feasible. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an easier hit to take as a person.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm impulsive because I was living in an apartment 8-9 years, paying, minimum rent. But I'm just stacking money and not doing nothing with it. And I just was like, let me just buy a house. So I put the, heavy deposit down, bought the house, and then it's like, damn, man, I kind of got rid of a lot of money because I just put a lot of money down. Now I got to work again. So it's like one of those.
So you didn't do 3%? You went above?
I want my payments to be low. Like I don't want to pay nobody extra anything. Like Ayo said, paying interest. You're not giving money away to anybody. I want to pay this off. I don't want to pay for it to live, so I want to pay this off. So I put down a nice little piece of change, but that's just one of those things that people got to go through. You never know. You put all your money down. Pandemic's still going on. You don't know. But I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna give away all my money. But I feel like at the end of the day, I think I made a great decision to buy rather than keep renting, because that fool can just come out of nowhere and be like, "Yo, you've been living month to month. By the way, I'm gonna raise the rent up to like $1,600." Yeah. Stuff like that. That's weird stuff. So like, I control my money now. Like my mortgage is gonna be my mortgage locked in for 30 years.
Yeah.
And then not even that, I could.
You got a prepayment penalty though?
I can move out. I can move out and have somebody pay me $1,200 for rent. You know,
Yeah.
I could put that towards a mortgage,
True.
and I'm still making passive income.
True.
So I'm living free, for somebody else to work, basically work for me, paying my mortgage, and I'm just putting rent into something else, I guess, or doing it again.
You right.
Let's get that rental company, man.
Yeah, that market,
I
that
would-
market is important too.
I'll
Where
have
you at.
I'll own a rental. I'll probably most likely own a rental before I own my own
Yeah.
house. Like a lot of people that I follow dabbling in real estate. It's like, oh yeah, I got a fat condo that I own, but yeah, I own 12 properties now that are bringing me in $10K a month or whatever. So it's nothing to throw that cash down. So like that's the whole way, quote unquote, rich people get rich. First, they buy assets, right? So they'll buy assets like a rental property. They'll take that mortgage, and then what they'll do is they'll take the money from that and they'll like roll it into another property, or they'll put it into stocks, and like you pay less taxes on stocks. You don't pay any taxes on stocks as long as you never sell them.
Right.
There's a rule I just learned about, something called, I think it's called a 1011 exchange or 1099 exchange. Like if you own a rental property and you sell it, you get like 60 days to reinvest that into a new property. And you don't have to pay any taxes on those profits at all.
Yeah.
So that's how rich people get rich. So they're like, raise income taxes. You could raise income taxes. You can raise income taxes to 90%, and it's not going to affect wealthy people. It'll probably affect like high income earners, like doctors, lawyers who are making $300-400K a year through a job. But like wealthy people who own investments, like there's so many like just learning the tax rules, it is nuts. And I'm not an expert at it at all. Like just the things I've learned from like owning a business and having your LLC, all these little breaks. And I just look, I'm like, dude, the average person in society doesn't know. You are not going to catch these motherfuckers, bro. They have too many loopholes, and the game is stacked. The game is stacked in the wealthy or the entrepreneur or the investor's favor. That's why you don't have to be a full-time entrepreneur, but like throw some money. People are, oh, should I invest in stocks? I'm like, yeah, put some money in there. I don't know shit about stocks. No more than you do, but it has made some money and it's been good, right? Put as much as you can afford to lose. Put a little bit in there.
Yeah, but like touching back on like home ownership, everybody's situation, there's so many variables. Like Tim touched on last week about his parents never owning a house. My parents never owned a house. So when I bought the house, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a money situation. I'm gonna rent it out. I want to have people renting. I bought the house and I'm like, dude, I will live here for the rest of my life. I've never owned anything. I own this. Like I can stay here as long as I want to, kind of thing. It's gonna die in my name, So I don't know. I just feel like, obviously, I'm gonna rent my shit out, or Airbnb it out, whatever. I feel like
that's a beautiful thing, dude. Owning shit.
Yeah,
that's the first step. Having whatever.
right.
Some people like to own homes. Some
Generational
people like to own investments. Yeah, you can
Generational
pass it to you. Because like when my kid's 18, I'm not gonna be the type to like spoil my kids or anything, but there's gonna be some money in the college account if she
Dude,
wants to go in there. Or
I pulled the Tim and looked at a headline, and it said that this dude left $5 million to his dog.
Huh?
Like in the will, his dog got $5 million.
some people love their dogs, man. I believe
That
it.
is bananas. Like,
What's a dog gonna do with $5 million?
who's
I
gonna
don't
take
know.
care of the dog is the question.
Dogs have a trainer.
What's a
Dog just pulled to Versace and was like, yo, I need 3 shirts.
It's gonna be solving mysteries.
Bro.
The dog gonna be
Wishbone.
$5 million, bro.
Can I just go ahead and say that's just stupid?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
But he's probably just like living alone,
But that's got maybe that's
a lonely life.
Maybe he was
Petty
reclusive
some
and he had no family or friends.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Oh,
petty.
that was a dog.
But now this dog can't do nothing with it. So guess who's gonna end up getting the money?
The person with the dog.
No.
Whoever owns the
Nigga, where
rights.
that dog at? Pausing clause?
Beverly Hills, bro. Get some
What'd you
movies.
say?
Where's that dog at? Pausing clause? I'm about to go adopt this dude.
But that's where
Right.
I mean, I don't know if y'all watched that clip that Charlamagne posted to like the Earning Leisure guys
You
when they
didn't
were.
watch the
Oh
clip.
yeah.
And I know Dino did, but like they pretty much said that's what happens with banks, bro. Like everybody puts money in savings with the banks, and you go to the bank, you're like, all right, I want to pull out 20,000, and the bank is like, oh, you got to let us know in advance. You got to come back in a couple of days. We can't get that
You can't
20,000
just
right
take
now.
your shit out.
Yeah, because you know what they do with your money? They fuck around with your money.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So it's like now when you got people talking more about stocks, it's like instead of me keeping 20,000 in the bank and they're playing with my money as I have it sitting there, let me take that money. Let me control it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where there's times where I'm thinking about it. I'm going, we're saving all this money for this crib, and I'm going, we could really just double this thing up so much quicker.
No,
It's a
don't do that.
gamble, bro. It's a gamble.
I know.
So I was actually just reading an article on this, and it was like, if you're saving up for a big purchase, the best thing you should do is just leave it in cash.
because
Yeah,
you think
you want to
about it,
have liquid.
because so I've been buying stocks today, everything like that. The market dropped like 5-10% over the past week, and that shit hurt, and it would reduce your payment. But
CCIV been booming though.
yeah, I got some of that too.
I know you did.
Shout out to CCIV.
Yeah, that should be going up.
Yeah, shout out to CCIV. That's like the only stock that went up today. But yeah, on your home, throw a little bit of money. Like I was reading this one book. I don't know if you read that one, The Psychology of Money.
Mm-mm.
And it was telling this story about this dude who was like, he's like a janitor his whole life, making minimum wage. And then there's a story about him in the newspaper. Oh, a guy leaves $10 million to his family. Dude just took his little check and just like bought stocks for 40 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's anybody could be a millionaire come 60s. If you started putting money in now, you'd be a millionaire by your
His
60s.
heart